Jinchunger's Bay is located in Kwai within the Kwai district. The study site includes the Waterfront, Kwai Park, Chung Cemetery, as well as the inland industrial and residential area. The site is located on the west coast of Kwai and incorporates different issues that Kwai residents and workers face while visiting the site. In our site, we have observed characteristics ranging from environmental to socioeconomic, visual to physical, ownership to land use. All of these contribute towards overall perception of the area and highly influence working and living conditions of local people. In this video, we will present site issues relating history and development, access, resources, social, environment, and technology, and thus the rising opportunities and constraints. Kwai is one of the earliest satellite cities in Hong Kong and has great emphasis on infrastructural development. The history of the site is heavily associated with Kwai morphological development. Kwai has undergone 3 stages of reclamation. First, the residential area was reclaimed during the late 1940s. The second phase started as part of a new town plan, emphasizing a self-sufficient and balanced development, together with the outlining of industrial zones in the 1960s. The third phase was the expansion of the container port. The government's low-level planning and reactive approach towards urban problems have resulted in compartmental land use, giving rise to different social and environmental issues. Nowadays, according to the outlined zoning plan, Kwai can be divided into 6 sub-areas categorized by different topography, land uses, and spatial attributes. The waterfront consists of mainly land-intensive seafront-related uses and other specified uses. The central Kwai area demonstrates the highest degree of vibrancy, in the form of gridded tenement blocks around public open space since the 1970s. Kwai and Ha Kwai are densely populated with high-rise public housing resting on sloping terrain. Here lies the opportunity to map our future through devising a sustainable strategy towards land planning. Kwai possesses the potential to develop into a self-contained neighborhood with existing waste and water treatment facilities. These systems form a circular economy vital for sustainability. At the same time, transitions between land uses should be smoothed, weaving industrial blocks and green spaces into the urban fabric and bringing the district to life. However, the government's priority towards economic processes, together with the dominance of industrial activities, restrict the conversion and release of land. Large-scale road development in Kwai has bestowed in its title, the heart of Hong Kong's road network. Designing at the city level, road infrastructure in Kwai was constructed at the cost of neighborhood placement, district environment walkability, socio-economic benefits, and fragmented land uses and habitats. Although there are multiple levels of highways and 3 mass transit railway stations, public transportation services connecting the city center and the waterfront area are limited. The only available public transportation system is the 404M minibus line. As a result, it contributes to the vicious cycle of low recognition and acceptance. On the other hand, the pedestrian walkway system was overshadowed by the extensive road network. The walkway system was forced to follow the massive road interventions, sacrificing pedestrians' comfort. Despite the government's efforts in promoting walkable cities, roads keep invading pedestrian walkways. However, improvement works merely focuses on reach and universality. There are concerns on pedestrian walkways' qualities too. For example, dumping along underused pedestrian walkways is still a frequent yet unresolved issue. Amongst the conflicts, potentials are seen in not only balancing pedestrians and vehicles, but also dissolving the binary oppositions between the two. Road and transit networks can also be used as tools to aid city and district development. At the same time, pedestrian safety and comfort are prerequisites to ensure a pleasant walking experience. Apart from walkways, there are also opportunities to improve public transportation systems and introduce a cycle-friendly environment. Nevertheless, the already well-established logistical infrastructure is a constraint to a large-scale development. While high public usage may not be the best for industrial activities at the waterfront, to sum it up, the access network of the site is a reflection of the disproportionate development in Kwai. Resolving these imbalances requires realizing potentials and constraints at different scales. Let's move on to talk about site resources. The drainage system in Kwai consists of three components: the Chun drainage tunnel, the underground drainage system, and the preliminary treatment works at the Ramblers Channel. The site is exposed to water contamination due to the lack of sewage drain along alleys, illegal connection of drainage pipes, and inappropriate drainage disposal along the public cargo working area. Potential drainage developments and improvements and better sewage treatment arise from the waste collection system, accomplished with the use of green morphologies. However, the complicated human activities, intensive traffic, and packed spaces put constraints on water regeneration works. Prior to the 1960s, before tipping commenced, waste was received by barge and unloaded on the rock bund. Having received 3.5 metric tons of waste, Drinkers Bay landfill was closed in 1979, giving rise to local recycling businesses, which mainly include metal, electrical appliances, plastic, and paper recycling. In Hong Kong, recyclables are mainly exported. Therefore, recycling companies only act as collectors who sort of and transport the recyclables. Small businesses face the constraints of unjustifiable economic incentives and outdated technologies. Hence, there is an opportunity to reorganize and restructure the recycling businesses. Government plays an important role in driving sustainable waste management and promoting recycling in the next community. Next, let's look at the social issues of the site. Hong Kong is ranked 111th in the world regarding its social cohesion. In the past, most of the factory employers and employees lived in Kwai Chung. They built strong ties with one another and formed a harmonious community. After the closure of the factories, little social interactions remain among different community members. This is due to the fragmented land use planning and limited shared spaces. To better understand the interests and conflicts of different community members, we have to first study its demographic characteristics. The demographic pattern of Kwai Chung shares resemblance with other aging districts, with elderly taking up 1/4 of the district's population. However, it is also one of the poorest areas, with 75,000 people living in poverty. In addition, more than 70% of the population is engaged in clerical work, services, and sales, fishery and agriculture work, machine operation, and assembling. Yet, 50% of the working population earns less than $10,000 a month. Not only do workers suffer from unhygienic working conditions, they also face economic insecurity. The District Council and different concerned groups have issued the call for building a healthy community. The two vulnerable groups, the old-aged and the underprivileged, are major beneficiaries. There are potentials to design more accessible third spaces, keeping people physically and socially active. At the same time, combating traffic-related pollution and illegal dumping helps improve both community and working environments. For the protection of workers' welfare, hygienic conditions can be improved and comfortable resting areas could be provided. As a result, long-term economic benefits of a healthy and safe environment should be highlighted. Moreover, community building efforts have to be made towards catering the needs of ethnic minorities and fostering socio-economic mixing. Despite the poor living and working environment, citizens' low sense of place is deep-rooted owing to its gloomy history. Drinkers Bay was named after the drinking pirates in the area long ago, also known as Lap Sap Wan, Rubbish Bay. The Drinkers Bay landfill had operated from 1955 to 1979. The cemetery blocks the open view of the waterfront and subsequently the placement of other unwelcoming facilities, and has diluted the bay's colors. Unpleasant user experience contribute to a low sense of ownership among residents. People do not take pride in their surroundings, encouraging public participation in placemaking could be an opportunity to regain civic pride. Specified land uses could hardly be converted. However, one may consider how to change people's perception and give new meanings to the bay. People's perception of Kwai Chung is also related to the maritime industry of the area. Hong Kong's port industry has been a pillar of Hong Kong. Kwai Chung possesses a world-class port with advanced infrastructure operating in a free market economic environment, said HPH Group Managing Director. The maritime industry in the area is divided into two sections: Rambler Channel Public Cargo Working Area and Kwai Ting Container Terminals. After three-phase reclamation, Rambler Channel became increasingly narrow to facilitate the expansion of Kwai container terminals. The typhoon shelter in the channel is currently part of the cargo working space, with legal and illegal birthplace and short-term lease space. Shipping activities are limited by water depth and the completion of urban road infrastructure. Therefore, the focus has been shifted from the Rambler Channel area towards the Kwai container terminals. Although the Rambler Channel public cargo working area is still in operation, its function as a port is weakening. Therefore, it is a great opportunity to explore new activities and environmentally friendly industries along the waterfront, balancing industrial and recreational space. Various developments and human activities in Kwai have shaped and impacted the environmental aspect. Microclimate concerns the climate at a local level. In the case of Kwai, it is mainly constituted by urban morphology, building density, vegetation, and ground cover. Kwai Urban Center suffers from serious urban heat island effect and weak wind permeability, resulting in a high number of heat-related illnesses. The area also faces more serious air pollution, among other districts, harming residents' and workers' health. Apart from thermal discomfort, the extensive industrial and residential development also led to limited green coverage of only 21%. Sole plant communities with low biodiversity value could only support a weak ecological system with common Earth suburban species. An unhealthy relationship between wildlife and human food waste resulting from illegal dumping can be reflected in the food chain system. Loosely tied and poorly managed green spaces contributed to habitat fragmentation. Developed within public housing estates during the late 1960s to cater the recreational needs of residents, green spaces lack integration and functions as green infrastructures, mitigating heat island effect and enhancing biodiversity. Ecologically fragmented green spaces adversely affect the health and diversity of wildlife. Socially, the pocket parks are subjected to outdated design and worn-out equipment fail to mingle with residents' everyday life. Systems of microclimate, urban ecology, and green spaces are interdependent. A positive, harmonious relationship between the three of them helps enhance human and wildlife comfort. To increase the area of green space, underused spaces, for example, undercroft, could be utilized, but it often proves less competitive with other developments according to the government. Apart from the undercroft, transforming traditional streets to green streets recovers continuous habitat patches, captures rainwater, incorporates greening into city life and lower urban temperature. Furthermore, reviewing the outdated drainage system helps control the water quality and secure water resources which prevent the degradation of egret habitats. However, these measures may involve huge costs and disrupt other urban systems. Modification in surface paving and enhancement in breezeways from Ramblers Bay could alleviate heat island effect, which is constrained by building management and regulations. The embellishment of the environment shall begin with efforts in tackling land and water pollution. Illegal disposal and leakage of landfill gas are the major factors of land contamination. The waste not only occupies pedestrian walkways, it also invades green belts, resulting in poor growth of plants. Limited resources on investigation and supervision from the government worsens with the problem of dumping. The safety level of gas leakage also limits residents' access into Kwai Park, the resort landfill. There are also refuse disposed into the harbor, as well as oil and metal contamination, polluting the water quality in the Rambler Channel. The situation is worsened as the water current and tidal force pushes the pollutants backwards into the channel, which results in bad scent and sewage accumulation during the low tide. Reviewing old systems and exploring sustainable waste treatment methods could be an opportunity to deal with excessive industrial waste and marine sewage. In addition, developing environmentally friendly industries and green technology can improve the situation as well. Lastly, after understanding different issues aroused from this aging district, let's talk about the roles of technology in Kwai. In the coming fifth generation, public spaces are much more than just a physical space. The use of information and communication technology can create dynamic public space in varieties, both seen and unseen. The Smart City Blueprint by the Hong Kong government clearly suggests a trend of applying ICT in the public domain. Maturing the smart systems and increasing usage of ICT might improve the economic, social, and environmental value of the site. After studying Kwai District, there come four major opportunities. They include utilizing informal spaces, improving current space through ICT, developing mobile applications, and lastly, introducing smart system networks. Yet there may be constraints like public and private sector cooperation, privacy issues, and universalizing people's use of ICT. As we look in the future, Kwaichung as an Asian community is gradually facing saturation in housing supply, infrastructural resources, and job opportunities. The general condition of Kwaichung is deteriorating. In a global sense, fierce competitions among other global cities also exist, in terms of container terminal efficiency and now innovative urban design solutions. It is perhaps the time to evaluate the current one-time solutions towards urban issues and adopt flexible and long-term strategies that solve the root problems.